Well, Chris Aligbe joins us today. He's an aviation analyst. Good morning, and thank you for coming on today.
Good morning, Chamberlain.
I mean, listen to the story of what transpired in Sokoto, for instance. I mean, you just cannot but just keep wondering. If you hadn't seen it, and the mental picture alone, and only for you to see that, look, they were just trying to show some love. But what's your perspective on this? How could this even happen?
Well, Chamberlain, I thank God that Sokoto is not one of our major airports. Otherwise, that's enough for us to begin to lose our status in global aviation circles.
Really?
Yeah, because, security, airport security. How do you explain that this kind of crowd beats every security system to go up to the tarmac? It's incredible. And again, I thank God that it is the supporters of Wamako. Supposing if you were the opposition who were opposed, a whole lot of political interpretation would have been given to it today. Today, everybody is quiet because they say they were supporters of the governor. If it were the people in opposition, they would have talked about how government have organized to make sure that the governor did not land.
And he says they were holding on to machetes, strange weapons, and it could be scary.
It's scary. That's why I say it didn't happen in a major airport in the country, because that's enough. You drop down on the rating, whether ICAO, whether FAA, whether whatever. We would drop down on the rating.
Would you like to speak more on the rating before we go further on this? How is the rating like now?
So first and foremost, you know that before we got our Pt.1, ICAO was here, FAA was here, other international, like UKCAA, Civil Aviation Authorities, they come to assess the security in the country. You know, for many years, we were banned from going to the US because they talked about the insecurity for airports. These are some of the things that they check. But so when they came back, we had done a lot because they were looking at airports that serve international operations, basically, and the general regulatory condition in the country. And they got convinced that at least we have gotten to a point that they can say, look, this place is secure. That's why we got our rating. If this type of thing were to happen in Port Harcourt, Abuja, or Lagos, we are in trouble. We'll be in trouble straight away. Or Kaduna, Enugu, all have been designated as international airports. That's why we must just be very careful, because there is security at the airports.
Yeah, but this situation also requires some sort of review on the part of aviation security operators, such that even prevent it from happening in that airport, even though it's not designated as international.
I agree perfectly. But if you see the kind of crowd, even with machetes and all those things, if I were an airport security staff, I would first take off. Because the fact of the matter, that's human reality. I don't know whether the people are coming to attack me or not. So it's kind of difficult. So it's the security agency, the real security agency, that should be called in that situation. I guess that's why the mobile policemen were called in.
Do you see a lesson there for airport security, in the sense that if they see or they sense that an atmosphere could be charged, they should alert security agencies? Or do you also see a role for politicians themselves?
Yes, first and foremost, I see a role for politicians. The role I see is a discipline and understanding what they are going into, what the environment is, what the airport environment is. I'm sure that love welcome must have been organized by some people. It just didn't happen. And so if you're organizing such a thing, you first take care of the environment in which you're organizing it and let people obey the rules. So I see, first and foremost, the rule for politicians, and particularly the aides of people in big places. If you look at all that has happened, whether you're talking about Amechi or Oshiomole, the problem is either caused by the aides or the pilots, not the principals themselves. And so this is what This is a lesson we should have. And now what's happened now that whenever such a thing is happening, they should put extra security system in place. Then when you get to that point, now you'll be talking about SSS, that in the airports, they should be much more political. Yes, they should go, or even when they see it immediately, they are faster. Their training is much ahead of the training fan security has. Fan security is airport security, but their security expands beyond this. So immediately they see, they should be extra sensitive about this thing. They see it coming. They call for the kind of security, deploy security apparatus that should keep people at bay. That's what I think.
Speaking about the aides of some of these officials who perhaps the principal may not even be aware of how some of these things eventually play themselves out. Yes, the aides on the one hand. What about the agencies, institutions of government that exist? Are they not supposed to be resolute in their resolves no matter what the aides bring in?
Yeah, and it's that resoluteness that is the problem. Let me tell you, let me start from the last experience, the Benin. First, I commend Governor Oshiomole for high sense of responsibility of saying, because somebody says, they say, come here, and the pilot was saying, I'm carrying Governor. The Oshiomole said, let us go, get back to the point, go to where you are called from. That's one. Let me commend the courage of the air traffic controller in Benin for insisting that the right thing should be done. The aides don't know. The fact of the matter is over 99% of people commenting on these issues have no scintilla of knowledge about what the rules, what the protocols are. It's not that they are not intelligent, they are not exposed to it. Even in aviation, most people, about 80 or 85%, if not more, of people working directly in aviation do not know these rules, except when you are involved in flight clearance and flight plans. I can tell you, for many years I was in Nigeria, I never got to know the issues about flight clearance until I was chairman of a pilgrimage committee, Christian pilgrimage committee. We had to check how to get our flights through Sudan, through Cairo, through this thing. That's when one got in contact with. So you can be working in the aviation industry without knowing these protocols, unless you are within that schedule. So when I say people don't know, it's not that people are not intelligent. They are not just exposed to it. They only open their mouth and talk about what they don't know about. That's a sad situation.
One would think that the pilot, I mean, who says he's got 35 years of experience, will know. I mean, the most basic thing to do.
I agree perfectly with you. The main culprit is the pilot. The pilot, if I were in Nama, I'm not there, I would have petitioned NCAA on the pilot. NCAA has regulations, has sanctions for pilots who misbehave, who err. The pilot is at fault. Is the pilot? I hear people in those state governments say Nama should apologize to Oshiomole. No. Pilot, first and foremost, and the organization he represents, OAS. Incidentally, OAS is a very experienced organization. I know the young man who is managing it, Nnaji, is very responsible and follows the rules. The culprit in this situation is the pilot, who knows what he should do and did not do it.
But the question will be, are you sure that there hasn't been room created in the past for that kind of behavior?
It is possible. I don't know. This is a matter of guess. But if a pilot